So Grant, what's the next cab on the rank? What's the next project? I know we discussed today repertories. Do you want to just give a bit of an outline of the idea that you have in relation to making a new repertory?
Well, yeah, I would like the idea of perhaps simplifying a repertory. There are a number of different repertories around, and there are different ways of repertorizing, and I guess what I'm looking for is that when you're looking for cause and effect, you don't necessarily have to be as specific as if you think that there is a... hang on, I'll start that again, because when you think that there's a psychological problem, there's this kind of nagging, erroneous way of either viewing yourself or viewing the world, then you need to be specific on what that erroneous problem is. But when you're looking at a cause and effect, and a cause and effect can be, it can be an emotion, but it can be a whole range of things. It can be that your health has never been well since a motorcycle accident, or perhaps there was 2 or 3 deaths in the family. And so what we'd be looking at then is just the broad rubric of death. And what I would like to do is to have a repertory where all of the death rubrics, or all of the accident rubrics, or whatever the factor may be, is kind of placed into one really easy to find rubric. So you can just death, copy, paste, drop it into the box, and there it is, rather than kind of almost getting out of the idea of... See, the Kentian model is based on the fact that there is some, like I said, erroneous or illogical thinking, which is then as having a ripple effect and being projected on your own behaviour and affecting your own health. And I guess what we're saying is that most people, if they were living in a relatively stress-free environment, would be in fairly good health. I mean, there are some people where that erroneous thought belief, like what you see in hypochondriasis or high anxiety, where there doesn't really seem to be a lifestyle that fits that, that is still relevant. But for the vast majority of people, there is a reason why their energy levels are going down and their physical signs and symptoms are going up. And if we can find what that stressor is and then place it into broad spectrum rubrics that give you a good broad understanding of the type of stress that this person's been undergoing. And like I said, it can be really plain. It can just be loss of sleep. It can be caring for or nursing somebody who's sick. You know, how many times have we seen in our clinic where somebody might be a carer for a parent or a partner who's dying of cancer or has got Alzheimer's, and as a result they're wearing themselves down. Now, there's no erroneous thought pattern there. There's no aberrant emotion that is driving them. It's the circumstances of life. And I would like to see in a repertory a section that is more catered for these demands of life rather than our response to these demands. Yeah.
So moving on to what you've seen a little bit today, perhaps here in Gent. I know you had some explanations about the work. Of course, you know what the synthesis repertory is, but I know that Gert and Anne had the opportunity to explain to you a little bit about how the work is actually done to not only develop but to continue the evolution of the repertory. What are your feelings after seeing what they're doing, what Frederik's doing here? Look,
you know, I think you need to do a video. And you need to get a video out to people, because what happens is that we're pretty hard workers in this field, but you get so involved in what you're doing that you forget that we just take it for granted to open up a repertory. There it is, we trust it, and just add it to, you know, whatever it is that we're doing at the time. And generally, you know, that that trust is warranted because the remedy comes out and it works. What you don't take into account is all the work that goes into making sure that you can trust that rubric. And I think that unless you see the process in action like what we've seen today, unless you really see that process in action, you don't understand how much checking and rechecking goes into making sure that you as a practitioner can take that rubric for granted and not think about it and just know that it's right. That was probably the main thing I think I got from this. What did you?
You know, I've thought of it before. You see sometimes little anomalies or odd things when you're choosing your rubrics, and I've thought about, you know, reporting things and so forth, but and I'd heard about how it's done here, but you know, maybe I haven't got around to actually putting that into practice. But, you know, there's a real appreciation that it is being done, and it's being done so thoroughly. And like Grant said, you can trust the core of what we work with every day. And it's such a collection of information over 200 years, and it takes a real dedication to keep that collated and in order and its integrity in place. So it's really nice to actually see it being done.
I don't think we fully, as a profession, I don't think you fully appreciate how much how wonderful it is to not have to think about the source of your rubrics, but to know that there's somebody there that is double and triple checking to make sure that those sources are right, so you don't have to, and it really just makes everyone's job so much easier. It's fabulous.
So perhaps just another question on what you've been seeing today. You've had the opportunity to speak to Pascal of the programming team, and I think we've been able to listen to what you're doing. What was your impression of Pascal's presentation, of being able to meet your needs, or just what's your? I know we didn't go through in full detail, the program and everything.
Yeah.
Just